When you think of peer pressure, do you think of millennials? After all, we're the generation who calls its own shots, does its own thing. So is going along to get along an issue for us? Let's talk about it. This is what I wish you knew about peer pressure. Welcome to I Wish You Knew. I am Brittany Timmons. We millennials are all about social media. Our thumbs are in overdrive, posting, texting, and trying to keep up. But does all that tempt us to succumb to going along with the crowd? And is all peer pressure negative? Here to tell you what they wish you knew are
Yasmin.
Hey, I'm Caleb.
Hey, I'm Mahogany.
Hey, I'm Wayne.
So y'all, let's talk about it. Does social media make you feel like you have to be a certain way, look a certain way, just be a certain type of person?
Yes, definitely. I feel like this idea of peer pressure, I think there are both negative forms of peer pressure and also positive forms of peer pressure.
Right.
So when I see social media, when I'm scrolling on Instagram, when I'm scrolling on Snapchat and I'm seeing people's stories and I see them, either they're like always so fashionable, they're always partying, they have a drink in their hand, or they're at a hookah lounge. Now that, I don't know, it's up to interpretation whether that's positive or negative type of peer pressure. And then there are these women, whether they're models or whether they're just like housewives or whoever, or a 16-year-old,
Right.
and they get 5,000 likes, 20,000 likes, you know, based off of their body. But a lot of times they'll be wearing like, you know, revealing bathing suits and all of this. And so as a preacher and as someone who wants to be in media, it's like, do I have to dress like that and look like that so that I can have all the followers? Does that equal success? So I don't know what you think.
No, I agree with you. I just kind of feel like, well, for one, let's be clear about this. You always see everyone when they pop in, and you're not when they're on their regular day stuff. So it's just kind of like, is this a life you're trying to portray, or is this your everyday? Now, that's not for us to judge that, but at the end of the day, it's like, I feel like what you put out is showing who you are as a person, because that's what people are seeing, and they don't know who you are, so they're judging by what you post, the quotes you're posting, who you're following. Like, people go in and see who you follow, who's following you, like it's real in depth. I'm getting in tune with it. As a millennial, I'm like, oh, it's deep. But at the same time, I think we also have to make a conscious effort of what we're putting out on social media. And I think a lot of people, either they come off as attention seekers, or are you on there to relay a message?
Right. And it's a fine line.
And it's a really fine line. And then like you talked about with the models, and it seemed like sex sells, and women are always being sexualized, and it seemed like, oh, that's what's attracting the opposite sex. But I feel like at the end of the day, like, I don't need to be naked to feel sexy and get a follow or get a like. And I think that's where maturity comes in with social media. And then it's sad, like you said, 16-year-olds, 15-year-olds are online looking 25 now. And grown men are following them, so it's like it's a thin line. It can go either way. So I don't
fellas,
know.
with that being said, when you scroll down social media and you're looking at girls and things of that sort, what does their pictures or their profiles say to you? What message is it giving off?
I actually think this is like a very interesting topic because I follow like a lot of, going to Howard, I have a lot of female friends, and I follow a lot of females on social media. And the interesting thing is, like, they'll have 30,000 followers or, around that number, but I know them as people. So it's funny to see them like as every day, like, hey, let's just go get something to eat. Yeah. And then you go into their comment section of their social media and, there's guys, oh, I would do anything for you, or, things like that.
So crazy. I'll drink your back.
It's so funny. It's so funny because I'm like, oh, I know you, like I'm not thinking about you in this anyway. But in terms of just like the way it is portrayed on social media, I would say, as a guy, I like it. I appreciate sometimes when I see, very sexy or beautiful pictures, but at the same time, I don't know, I feel like it does have like a little negative tint on what is attractive, because at the end of the day, when I'm meeting you, I'm not meeting you on 10 all the time. Like, maybe I might like you the day you're just wearing sweatpants, so I feel like that's just more of in your own personal outlook, because I don't see it changing. I don't really see social media changing in the way of like, okay, everyone's just gonna be clothed now, you know? But I feel like you have to internalize your own values and standards of, oh, is this what I wanna promote? And I feel like that at the end of the day is what's gonna show off to yourself, like to your peers, because at the end of the day, people know you, you know what I'm saying? So there's social media followers, yeah, then they might soak it up, but it's like the people that you're actually interacting with, they get to know the real you. So if you're the same on and off Instagram, you shouldn't really have any problems, but if you are, you know, portraying a lifestyle that's not you, that's when I would say.
But I think that's what social media is. I think it's a facade. For some people, social media is some people's diary, it's their mask, you know, like, I think people really cater to social media to be that avenue of acceptance. And okay, you know, like I'm never going to take a picture with no filter. I'm never going to take a picture with no makeup. I'm not going to post these things because these things aren't going to attract likes. So I have to make sure the perfect picture gets, you know, I put that perfect picture up on there to get those likes, to get those acceptance, for my numbers to go up. And that's what it all is. It's about the numbers. It's about the who's looking at me right now.
Caleb? What you think?
Whenever I see that, I just ask myself, is it worth it? It's like, do you actually want to put that, like everyone is saying, that kind of message out that I need to have this type of revealing picture or wear these type of clothes? I do appreciate it. Like he said, I like it. I'm like, all right, she fine, click. But, you know.
What about for the guys? So, you know, we're talking about, you know, yes, there's a lot of feminine energy on social media. But what about the guys? Like, do you all follow other gentlemen?
Okay, wait, before we get to that question, let's hold that point real quick. We've got to take a break, but stay with us. We'll be right back with more. I think social media for guys, they have it easy. Welcome back to I Wish You Knew. So fellas, we were talking about a lot of the women's form of pressure that they find. What kind of pressure do you find specifically from social media?
I feel it's a few types of pressure, because I follow a lot of my friends back home. They're like personal trainers, like Buff, Billy Blanks. They're like it's unnecessary how many abs they have. And I'm like, do I need to, I need to get in the gym as soon as I get on Twitter, but I don't think we have as much pressure as women do. I'm so thankful.
Thank you for acknowledging that. Because it's hard to be a young woman in 2017.
I'm like, because you have to be on 10 all the time. And I'm like, that has to be nerve-wracking. I'm like, that's why I'm so thankful. And there's, go.
Wayne, what about you?
Yeah.
Do you find pressure?
I would say for me, I follow a lot of like fashion, like a lot of fashion accounts on Instagram, like Twitter and things like that. What I say for men anyway. And I feel like for me, my peer pressure comes in with like buying the latest clothes and things like that, or like being fly or different things. And something I see like guys do, which I think is very corny, but they always are the ones with the most followers, are the ones that are like, you know, you gotta treat a woman right, or, you know, like they have those corny accounts and stuff like that. So I feel like that's like a peer pressure for men in a way, because like, you know, nowadays, it's like such a minefield on social media. Like you say anything wrong and like, you know, someone from a whole nother state could construe what you were saying to be, you know, you're not feminist and X, Y, Z and stuff like that. So I feel like there's peer pressure in that sense that, you know, we now have to be on our P's and Q's, you know, just like online and socially, which I think is a good thing. It can be good, but at the same time, I feel like sometimes it stops us from having real conversations because people are now, you know, decorating what they're saying as opposed to what they actually want to say.
Right.
Because, you know, the pressure of people actually, you know, coming at them in any type of way.
So what kind of pressure, peer pressure, do you find in your inner circles? Find or found? Because I understand from my vision, you know, when you find certain pressures or people that just shouldn't be in your inner circle, they get eliminated. They get kicked out. They got to go. So what kind of pressure have you encountered with people that you know?
Where do I start? Let's say.
Yes.
The friends I had in 2008 are not all the friends I have in 2017.
And why is that?
Because I feel like we grow and we want different things and we want to go in different directions. And I feel like as you get older and when the things are of a priority become important, you look around the people who you're around and feel like, are they making me grow or are they making me want to stay content? Because they're not ready to go to the next level. And you got to realize not everyone's going to make it to the end. Everyone has their season. So you have to get to a point where you have to learn, okay, this was our season and this is where it ends. I love you, but this is when I need to move forward because you're not ready to take that step yet. And it's okay. I want people around me who's going to encourage me, who's going to motivate me, who wants to challenge me. And I think we get so caught up on longevity because I've been friends with this person since freshman year of high school, or I've been friends with her since college. But then, okay, we're not in college anymore, we're not in high school, we are young adults. And I'm not trying to go out to DC in the club every Friday through Sunday. I mean, is the club open every day or go out and drink? Like, I'm like, let's sit down, let's have a conversation. Let's think of a business plan.
Right, there you go.
So it's like, we're your conversations. You have to listen to the conversations that are going on around you. I mean, what about you guys?
And I think too, with your inner circles, I know I found it's certain things that's not worth fighting for anymore. My fight and my energy needs to go in other directions. So if you're every single time I don't invite you out and I'm out with these friends and you want to be petty, you have an attitude about it, then maybe you shouldn't be around. Because I'm not thinking of it as the mindset of, oh, I'm being petty today and I'm not going to invite her. It just so happened, or maybe you don't need to be with this group of friends, but I find it's other avenues that my energy needs. So that has caused me to kick people out of my circle and things of that sort because the pressure that they put on me is not pressure that I want. And I know I don't want it, so it's no need for me to fight for you.
Exactly.
For me, I'm a little weird, and so I've never had a large group of friends. Like I've seen.
That's not weird.
It's not
that's
weird
not
at all.
weird, no.
But the thing,
Smaller the better.
The thing is, in terms of when we're talking about peer pressure and what we're seeing in our inner circles, my inner circle are mainly folks who are 10, 20, 30 years, about 20, 30 years older than me, right? So they're like uber successful, and I just want to suck up all of their knowledge, but I also feel sometimes I feel insecure and I feel insufficient, like I'm not doing enough, I should be speaking and charging $1,000 or thousands of dollars to speak, and I should be speaking at universities, and I should be, I should be modeling for this company and that company, and I'm looking and I'm like, well, damn, like they get to do all that stuff, but like, what's wrong with me? And so that's kind of the struggle that I have with social media, and I have to remember not to compare myself. But if I'm looking at someone who's a few years younger than me and they have, maybe thousands or millions of followers and they're traveling the world and speaking, I have to look at myself and I'm like, well, what am I doing wrong? That's not necessarily accurate.
Yeah, but I think it comes
naturally.
naturally.
That's the kind of world that
we live in.
Absolutely.
It's those
That
things in your
pressure.
face, and it makes you just automatically think. Not that you want to, but when you see, okay, this person is traveling. I have some friends that just bought condos and stuff like this on the South Side. And I'm like, yo, I'm still trying to make an acting career pop off.
It's
but
like
I
these
think
deadlines. It's like these imaginary deadlines that we kind of give ourselves. Like by 25, we thought we were going to be,
doing this
have our houses and be married. And look, we in that age frame, and maybe all of us are not there yet.
I feel like we can sit here and talk about this all day. We've got lots more to talk about, but we'll be right back with more, so stay with us. But I think it's exactly what you said. It's imaginary deadlines that we Welcome back to I Wish You Knew. We've been talking about peer pressure among our generation, but we're not the only ones who think it's a topic that bears discussion. We've welcomed a group of millennials from Household of Faith Church in New Orleans who took over the couch to tell us what they wish you knew about peer pressure.
Hi, my name is Shayna Miles, and we are from New Orleans, Louisiana. Welcome to I Wish You Knew.
Hi, I'm Elizabeth Woodfox.
Hi, I'm Heaven Barrier.
Hey, I'm Benaiah Harvey.
Hello, I'm Maya Carter.
Hi, Daisha Kaye.
Darius Kaye.
Antoine Barrier.
So guys, it is now, we're living in the 21st century. How when we have so much society pushing for us to be ourselves, how do you guys think there's still so much peer pressure going on?
Shayna, that's a good question. I feel like personally, I'm always juggling between my mom's ideals and what she expects, you know, us to look like, and what I personally like feel like doing, and that difference, and trying to balance that and juggle that. And I always feel like that's a very like strong pull for me to be myself, but then also understand like my mom may or may not be used to what I'm doing.
I also feel like with social media too, you have like an ideal picture of what being yourself looks like. You know, everyone wants to be different and cool, and so yeah, you're being yourself, but like subconsciously, like you see these people glorified like celebrities and stuff like that, and you still kind of want to be that. So it's like you're trying to balance being yourself, but being the right version of yourself that's cool enough to get noticed.
And then another thing with social media is that we have this idea of what a carefree, free black girl and black boy looks like. You know, so on Twitter, you'll see the black boy with flowers in his hair, or that's Black Boy Joy. Or you'll see the black girl with her melanin popping, this is going on, and she's wearing this color, that color, this, her hairstyle, this type of way. And it's like, just because that's her image of her black girl joy or black boy joy doesn't mean that you have to have the same image. So they see that and they're like, oh, if that's black girl joy and black boy joy and that's melanin popping, I have to do that too. But no, be your own black boy joy, be your own black boy girl, you know, black girl joy, you know?
Not only does social media play a part in peer pressure, but your friends do too. And people don't realize that, like, it could be even your closest friends, and they have like a huge impact on what you do, what you say, and how you act. So it's like friends, family, social media, TV. It's like peer pressure is everywhere.
I agree with that. Being in college, I realized that the people that you hang out with influence you so much, like you were saying, Liz. Recently, I hung out with like a group of guys that a lot of people felt like really didn't do much, when I felt like I did so much. And I had to look back over my semester and kind of realize, like, how much did I actually do, you know, hanging out with these guys. And it came up to the point where we went to a party, and this one girl literally asked me, was like, why do you hang out with them? Like, you're nothing like them. And I'm like, why do I hang out with these people? You know, and I realized I didn't feel like I was peer pressured to like hang out with them or anything. Like, it was my own will, but I had to realize subconsciously that like they were kind of like bringing me down, you know? So it's interesting.
And I also think like when people think about peer pressure, they just think about like big things like, oh, like drugs or alcohol. They don't think about, oh, the way I dress or just like little things like that.
Right. Also, I think that peer pressure oftentimes gets a negative connotation. When peer pressure can be one of the best things for somebody, as long as it's a good outcome, a good focus. Because, I mean, honestly, peer pressure has been around for a very long time. It's hard to get rid of, and there's a reason for that, because you want peer pressure in some situations, so it can be used both ways, both negative and positive.
And it's just like, it's also kind of like how your mom used to say, you know, show me your friends and I'll show you who you are. And it's just like, you don't even realize that that's actual peer pressure. And it's just like, anytime I can look at your circle of friends and say, they're gonna be lazy, they're gonna be non-productive, but then I can also look at the same thing and be like, man, she hangs around a lot of people who wanna be successful. So she has to be successful. She hangs around a lot of people who are successful. So it's like, it's bound for you to be successful. And it's just like, they also say, you know, hang with somebody who's like a step above you, and then somebody that you can also reach down and grab. And it's just like that whole, you know, trickle effect is peer pressure. And it's just kind of how Benaya said, it most of the time it gets a negative connotation. But in all actuality, it can be what you make it. So it's who you surround yourself around. Do you surround yourself around people who are building you up, or are you surrounding yourself around people who you're supposed to be already above and you're lowering yourself to be around those type of people?
Right, because you are the company that you keep. And I feel like everybody has to keep that in mind, because for instance, if you want to be this famous actress, or you want to do this, or you want to do that, surround yourself with people in those circles. You know, people who are going to encourage you and push you. You want friends who support you in your friend group, not friends who look at you and be like, why you want to do that? You know, that's the negative peer pressure. You want the positive. You want the, oh, if you want to do that, let's get together and let's put this project together. Or let's go on YouTube and let's figure out how people work this camera. You know, that's the positive peer pressure.
And also, you know, you want to make sure that, like, because we like to think about peer pressure as your friends, but you want to look at yourself and make sure, me as a friend, am I pushing my other friends in my friend group to, you know, constantly keep in mind whatever goals that they have and make sure that they're always working for it. It doesn't always have to be like like the mom giving the pep talk, but you know, if you know that your friend has, let's say, an exam coming up in a week or so, and you're constantly like, hey, let's go hang out, hey, let's do this, let's do that, you're kind of pushing them in the wrong direction because you know they need to be studying. So it's like, also, yeah, keep in mind the company that you keep, but also keep in mind the company that you are and your own friend group.
I think a big challenge for like us, especially as Black people, also being ourselves, is that idea of success, like Shayna was talking about in the workplace. You know, me dressing as myself, what I'm very comfortable dressing as, you know, is often not viewed as professional. No matter how I speak, or the things that I'm more naturally inclined to, you know, Black culture, Black media, it isn't necessarily always interacting with the idea of professionalism, the idea of like the American dream, the American standard. And so for us millennials, like when we want to be ourselves, we're often like frowned upon by the people hiring us, our parents, who are like, this is the cookie cutter way to get a job and to make an income. And we often try so hard to break out of that mold by expressing ourselves, being creative. And I feel like the mission of most millennials is like, let me be myself and show that I still can be successful and professional.
I agree about everything.
Everything they said was accurate. On
I
point.
agree with the birds of a feather. They flock together. I've been hearing that since I was younger. Can you relate?
Absolutely, definitely.
We have had a great time today. Thank you so much for watching. We will see you next time on I Wish You Knew. But they're woke. I think we need to wake up and realize, like, you need to understand, but you don't kind of get